to Let's Talk Early Years. In studio with me today, not one, not two, but three extra special guests talking to us about why teachers and educators are not superheroes and why that's a good thing. Welcome in studio, Mirna, Nazia, and Magda. Please introduce yourselves. I'll start with you. Please introduce yourselves to our audience.
Thank you, Melanie. I'm so happy to be here today, and I couldn't ask for better company. I am Mirna Bolmanac, founder of One Way to Harmony, NLP coach, and advocate for women's well-being.
And of course, our audience knows you already because you've been here before.
Yeah.
So welcome again.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So first of all, I would like to thank you, Melanie, for inviting me and making me a part of your podcast. It's an honor to be here and contribute to the amazing platform that you have created. And I truly admire the value. I really wanted to say this, that I truly admire the valuable content that you're sharing in the field of early years. So congratulations, and I can't wait to see how it continues to grow.
Thank you. That is so kind.
So regarding my introduction, I am Nazia Mirza. I started my journey as an early years educator, and I always had this curiosity to learn more, which led me to attending few workshops on stress management and self-awareness. And that sparked a passion in me. So I decided to train myself as a coach, and for over a decade I've had a privilege of training individuals and teams on stress and self-management. Throughout my journey, I've had some incredible teachers and mentors who have played a huge role in my growth, and I'm truly grateful for that. Alongside my coaching on stress and self-management, I was always very interested in education, particularly early years, because I feel that this is a very critical stage in one's life where you can make a lasting impact.
Absolutely.
So that's where I decided to expand my expertise on that, and I completed my CASH level 5 in leadership. And alongside my professional journey, I am a proud mother. I'm lucky to have a husband who is like my personal cheerleader,
Yes,
always
absolutely.
nudging me to pursue my passions and level up. So whether I'm prepared or not, he always makes sure that I'm out there and making an impact.
Thank you
So,
for being here.
thank you very much,
For
yes.
making a lasting impact in
Thank
early
you.
years. Thank you. Magda.
Hello. Hello. Right, so first of all, thank you for inviting me to this conversation, because I already sense it's going to be super fruitful and super happy, the colors and everything else, the vibe. So when I do my introductions, I say who I am, and then comes what I do. I'm a human, number one. I'm a human, and this is the core of my coaching, my training, my philosophy. So Magda is a human, and what I do, currently I'm in a capacity of mental agility expert, coaching, training, mentoring, mental health first aider, and I could keep adding on my certifications. My background is in nursing, so I have been a nurse for nearly 20 years. I have worked in the UK, Kuwait, and Dubai, and many people ask me, why did you leave? Actually, my answer to this is, I didn't leave. I transitioned. It was a beautiful transition. And why I transitioned, I started noticing that individuals in organizations, in healthcare, and organizations themselves facing specific issues. And when I say these specific issues, I refer to stress and burnout. So my passions are stress and burnout solutions, mentally agile leadership. I have witnessed pretty much the same issues in these countries, and 2 different continents and 2 countries. And I started getting frustrated, honestly speaking. I got angry at some point. And what is the best way to use anger? Let's channel it to the creative space.
Absolutely. And we are so grateful that you're here.
Thank you so much.
Sharing a lot of your expertise. We didn't tell the audience that we've got nominees for the Mental Wellness Awards in our midst here as well. So
Yes.
congratulations to both of you as
Thank
well.
you.
I'm so grateful to be having this conversation. I know I said this to you earlier, that having you here at the table is giving so many other people access
Yeah.
to your knowledge, to your wisdom. We spoke about wisdom before we went live. It's giving people access, so really we are grateful. What we want to talk about, Magda, you touched on it. Educators are not superheroes. Why have we taken on this mantle of martyrdom? Why?
I believe that in the field of early years, majority is women. And as women, we have this innate nature of, caring for others and putting others first. It's a very deep-rooted, I would say, belief in us. And early years especially is a profession where it's driven from passion, love, nurturing. So, but it's so important to call it out that, it's time where we have to shift the notion from, exhaustion to empowerment, from burnout to balance. And a lot of things have to be incorporated at a policy level now, where leaders have to, put these systems in place where we give priority to well-being of the educators first. Because if educators thrive, children thrive.
Nazia, as an education leader, I want to say to you, we are burning out as well.
Yes.
So,
we have to
putting it back on our laps and saying we need to provide the policy is, I want to include us in, we're also wearing
100%.
those superhero capes.
100%.
Because, and this is a shout out to every nursery school leader, every manager, every school administrator. I see you. We see you. It is not an easy role that you take in society. So this conversation is for you as well. We honestly, as administrators, we too are wearing that cape, because besides what you can see in the nursery, we are doing the unseen as the leaders, So, but why? Why?
I absolutely love the hero narrative. And if you know my content and what I talk about, the superhero narrative in healthcare is very common. What does it do? When you are called a hero or expected to be a hero, you are 24/7 on. So 100% productivity, you are always available, and we continue pouring for others. The question is, who pours into your cup when you are the superhero? So let us stop here for a moment, leave the autopilot narrative, stop running like the Superman with the cape on.
Correct.
And let us question the status quo.
I love how you mentioned nursing. I think like as nursing, doctors, teachers, like teaching is also calling. It's not vocation. It's not a profession. And when it's calling, you're doing it from love, and you're doing something and you live this purpose. And when you doing something from so much love and as a purpose, it's very hard to find these boundaries between your professional and personal lives. And then, it can lead to burnout and so much stress.
And guilt.
And guilt, of course, if you cannot manage those expectations of being superhero.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Mana.
Love it.
Magda?
And if I may add to it, having this kind of conversation, professionals coming and discussing the same issue from different angles, it really adds the richness to our viewers, because they want to have some value, right? How do I move forward? And it's not just about preaching. I know it might sound oversimplifying when I say fill your cup first
Yeah.
before you fill others' cup. But in nursing, for example, when I was having my education, no one told me to fill my own cup. No one
No one
taught me
talks
about
about
stress
it.
management. It was always the patient come first. Unfortunately, it is wrong. If I
It
don't
is.
fill my own cup, if I'm not at the fullest capacity, if mentally I don't feel okay, physically I am strained, you know, even the science tells you that nurse or a doctor that is burned out is 3 times more likely to be involved in a patient safety incident.
And
We
it's the same for
really-
teachers.
It's
It's
the
the
same
same
for
for
teachers.
educators. Yeah,
When-
your safeguarding is a concern.
Yes.
And also the presence you bring into the space. If you are not happy, what are you transmitting to those little learners in your care and to your colleagues and to the other stakeholders, the parents who are walking through the door, the businesses, the partners that are coming through the door. So if we're not okay, everyone around us is feeling that impact. And I want to read to you from a UNESCO paper, the International Task Force on Teachers for Education 2030. The paper says globally, 44 million additional teachers need to be recruited by 2030. In addition to that, it says, attrition amongst primary teachers in 2022 is standing at a staggering 9.6%. Now we can talk about salaries, we can talk about the burdensome administrative work that teachers are experiencing, we can talk about a community that perhaps is not supporting, we can talk about a lack of resources. But I love what you said earlier. Let's reflect to self. We're living in an era of abundance. Magda, this is staying with me. Talk to our audience about that.
Okay, another favorite topic of mine. So the more of this conversation evolves, the more I know I'm in the right place.
Yes.
Because there is so much of cross-industry learning, right? As we all agree, nursing, teaching is a vocation. But the danger that comes with this being a vocation is like we very often don't consider that rest is productive. So, okay, it's calling from the heart, but we also need to consider it is a job.
Yes.
So you need to rest to recover, and the rest is the most important, I would say, activity that you should invest in to aid your productivity.
So rest
So
is productive.
Absolutely.
Rest is
And
productive.
again, there is a lot of science behind it. But going back to your question, Melanie, what did you just ask me? Just please remind me, because I can divert.
I wanted to know, we can all talk about the challenges we're experiencing and why we're burned out, you know, and I'm saying, can we reflect to self and
Yes.
take the responsibility, and I want to come back to what you said earlier, you know, I hear you, please. We are looking to a higher place and saying policy does need to change. But it's not necessarily at the management level. It's not necessarily there. And it's not necessarily at an owner level, because very often owners of schools are entrepreneurs. They're not necessarily vested into education or early years. Do you get what I'm saying? So
I think, yeah, I
We
think we
need to.
cannot, we cannot talk about well-being and well-being at the workplace if there is no culture of well-being.
Right.
This is not practiced in the
Right.
schools.
but it begins with
But
us.
it begins, of course, with us.
Yes.
It begins with advocating for our needs, for to talk about our stress, talk about everything that you are, as a teacher, you are going through, rather than hiding that and pretending you are a superhero and, you know, trying to achieve this perfection, which is unreal.
Yeah.
So
I think it's also
Yes.
fueled by our egos, Mana. You know, when we say, if I say to you, you're a superhero, Magda, how does that make you feel?
Makes me feel good.
Yes.
Everyone
Yeah.
remembers the pandemic when the
Yeah.
whole world was clapping for the healthcare providers, right? Of course,
Yes.
it's needed. Yes,
Yes.
I need this kind of gratification.
Yes.
People appreciate me.
Yes.
However,
It's unrealistic.
It's
let me
unrealistic
fill this cup
expectation.
so I can continue pouring and they can keep clapping. No problem. If there is a balance
Right.
There
in the
is a
whole
balance.
equation, yes.
So I'm coming back to you.
Balance.
Let's reflect to self, Magda.
Yeah.
Let's take the responsibility for our own stress and burnout. what does that look like in reality?
Okay, in reality, we had a conversation behind the scene, right? That if someone is in survival mode, they will not hear my talk. So Magda is coming, thriving. No one is gonna hear my message when I start. You should do this, you should do that. Come on, let's go to yoga classes, whatever, breathing exercises. So the individual has to be in the right space. And I say, in the UAE now, if you see, we live in the era of abundance, and specifically in here, resources, information technology is here. But we are not bad actually. However, we have not upgraded our human skills to leverage on this abundance. Number one complaint that I hear when I coach nursing leaders, nurses, or even from outside the industry is I feel overwhelmed. Number two, I don't think I have enough skills to deal with it or adequate skills. And number three, I don't feel like there is anyone in my organization to talk to when I feel stressed or under pressure. Every single workshop, every single training I did, this is what is coming out.
Right. So how are we going to address that? I feel, again, each one of us needs to take responsibility for ourselves.
For ourselves, that is so important.
Yeah.
Like she said, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
When we travel in an airplane, we hear that, put the oxygen mask first on yourself and then help the passenger sitting next to you.
Right.
So same goes in every aspect of your life, that if you're not able to take care of yourself, giving priority to your well-being, you are just not capable of doing it for others.
Right.
So as a leader as well, it begins with you.
Right.
If you value and you prioritize how important is your well-being, and a lot of things comes under that, which we will discuss further, that what she said, that, rest, your nutrition, physical activity, mindfulness practices, so many things.
I want to even stop you at nutrition. How many of us are having lunch at our desks or on the go? How many of us are waiting for the end of the day before we actually go to the bathroom? How many of us are not even eating? We're surviving on a cup of coffee first thing in the morning and then running through the day, all in the sake of, again, I'm coming back to what we said earlier, I'm so busy.
Yeah.
I'm so busy. There's just not enough hours in the day. I think we need to take responsibility. Me, you in the workplace.
We need to, it is our responsibility. It is individual responsibility. But if you're working in organization, there also should be safe space where you can address those issues. Because if there is no one to come in your classroom that you go with washroom, then how can you take care of yourself?
Right.
This is just a simple.
So we're coming back to what
example.
Nazia was
But
iterating previously, that managers do have a responsibility to create a workplace that is conducive to well-being.
100%.
Yes, so we might not be able to affect various other things, but in the space that we can affect, so perhaps our ratios should be intact, where there's the sufficient amount of teachers for the amount of children that are in the workspace, that we have access to a break room or to go and connect with our colleagues during a lunchtime, or
wellness and well-being initiatives, and also to have the school leaders that can recognize and support in the right way teachers who are going through stress or they need any kind of support.
So, Mana, how are we gonna? I like to say, I'm trained as an educator. All the other skills that I've managed to accrue over the years has been out of necessity. So I've had to go and learn people skills or business development or etc. Speaking skills. I had to go and learn that. Not everyone is adept or qualified in the space to be able to address all of these needs. So what does that look like for leaders? Where can we find the resources? You spoke about the abundance of resources.
Your organization should hire the coaches who will come and then do trainings and provide those skills and tools.
Right.
To
I know
leaders.
you've done that for us as an organization, Mana, and I know you're still open to doing that, to speaking with nursery schools. Nazia, you're open to speaking. Magda, I know that you're... So for the audience, go and find our colleagues here at the table. Go and find them on Instagram. Go and find them on LinkedIn. We will be tagging them on our page this week. Go and find them and bring them into your organizations and let them help you. If you're lacking the skills, we're speaking about an abundance of resources. Now we need you to tap into that. Magda just mentioned you need to level up and go and take your space so that the rest of your team follows suit. The responsibility lies with you, leader. Yeah? Individuals. The educator sitting
I
in the
really love
classes.
what you just said, Melanie, because yes, everyone has a responsibility, individual and then organizational level. And I appreciate how overwhelming is the well-being concept, okay? Leader, let's say the CEO on the top of the organization, when you tell them you need to implement well-being strategy, majority of the time is panic. I don't know where to start.
Yes.
Bring
Yes.
the specialists
Yeah.
that know where to start.
Right.
And I can assure you that we can break the topic down into small components.
Right.
The idea is to implement small changes that bring huge results. That
Give me
bring
three. Give me
that
three
bring
that we can use, Magda.
immediate results. So for example, in mental agility framework that I have developed that is specific to stress and burnout, but not only, it's a whole leadership concept. When people tell me that they struggle with overwhelm, no people skills, no one is listening to me. So simple upgrades on human skills, emotional intelligence, right? If I am a leader who is constantly stressed, I am not aware of my emotions, I cannot even name them. Let's start with this awareness of emotional literacy, right? The more you have the vocabulary and the more you can name what is going on inside you, you will start having this awareness, okay, I am angry, what is bringing the anger? I don't want to show the anger to my people, right? This is not a leader's intention to be seen as angry or frustrated or stressed or burnt out. So the moment you learn what emotions do to you, what messages they bring, the more you are empowered to learn to do something to navigate it better. I said don't control it because it's a negative, navigate your emotions. Every emotion is there for a reason. And I gave an example of this 10-year-old boy who came to me at a recent event and he said, I suffer with anger issues. And his friend came to me and said, yes, he suffers with anger issues, okay? Small conversation explaining what is anger. Anger is an emotion and it's a chemical reaction. 6 seconds. And I teach a very powerful formula. People like formulas, okay? So give me 3 steps, 5 steps, and then it's
Make it
magical.
easy for
It's
us.
gonna work.
It's gonna work.
So now we are overwhelmed. We want solutions that are scalable and bring immediate effects. So a simple formula like pause, think, talk. Why pause? 6 seconds chemical reaction. The minute you are able to control your reaction for the 6 seconds, your emotional brain is not gonna produce the reaction that very often you will regret because you're gonna say something or do something that the other person and you are not gonna like it. So you are giving a chance to your intellectual side come to play. You have paused, you have thought, and then the reaction is gonna come. Whether you need to say something, but very often we don't need to say anything. Do I really need to say something just because there is something going on?
I even wanna interrupt you and say, it might not even after that 6 seconds be a reaction. It could be a response.
Thank you.
Instead of reacting,
Thank
We are
you.
responding.
we need to respond.
Yeah, so this is a takeaway for our teams in the nursery school and for our leaders, that it's as simple as this. It's as simple as just pausing.
And can I
for
just
6
add
seconds.
something? When you want this immediate solution, we live in a world that we want quick fix.
Yes.
I also designed these coasters that you can put under your cup. So you have a coaster that says mentally agile leadership, pause, think, talk. Every time you are in your office,
It's
you
a
are
reminder.
conditioning your brain. 30 days, 60 days, believe me, it's gonna be in your head till the end of your life.
Okay.
Pause, think, talk.
This is our new mantra. Leaders out there, pause, think, talk. Say it with me, pause, think, talk. Yes, I love it. There,
Thank
you've
you.
given us three quick, simple steps that we can
Yes,
use. Yeah,
simple.
I love it.
There's one more thing that I would like to add here. When we talk about implementing small, strategies
Yes.
into our daily routine, I would suggest that, deep breathing in the morning is something that really sets the tone for the day. So as simple as, inhaling for 4 seconds, then hold for 4 seconds, and then exhale for 4 seconds. So it really calms down your nervous system and it makes you more present. So I would suggest that, before you start your day, before you get into the routine of everyday busy life, just give yourself, 2 to 3 minutes or even 5 minutes, do some deep breathing and then begin your day. So it really makes you in a very present and calm state.
Right. So
Yes.
even
Very
for
simple.
those of us taking public transport,
You
this
can
is
utilize
something we
that
could-
time.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so this is
Absolutely.
doable too.
Very doable,
I
very
love
simple.
that. You were going to say, Mana?
Yeah, I love that also. Like I loved that at the beginning of your day you set up some intention for the day, so that when things are not going well during your day, you remember this intention and then you pause, you think and you talk, because there are some feelings that can bring this back to you, so you feel more present. It's about being present, and I see so many teachers very stressed because they're overwhelmed with so much paperwork, with so many things, and the children. So the thinking about past, what they did, and about future, what they have to do, and they cannot be in present moment. And this is, as we mentioned, when mistakes can happen.
Yes.
And also they cannot see the beauty of their work and this nice progress on your day-to-day life, enjoy more in teaching, like connected with the children, not just rushing through the one class, another class. So about that connection.
Let's talk about boundaries.
Setting
What's
boundaries.
the power of no? I
Power of
find
no.
No, without
we don't say no. We don't say no enough. I spoke in this week's episode, no, the coming week's episode, I spoke with Sari, and we spoke about how in the COVID pandemic we started doing leadership differently because we were catering differently to a different kind of reality. And so where we would normally have held fast to certain rules and regulations, we have given in. And also, we've now retained those expectations. And so more and more we're finding that the lines are becoming more and more blurred for leaders, for teachers, where perhaps we're just overextending ourselves for the sake of retaining the business, or for the sake of retaining favor with the parents or respect with the parents, or that kind of thing. So what is the power of a no, a respectful no? Is there such a thing? Can such a thing exist for educators?
I think it's very important to set boundaries to maintain, your own sanity, I would say, in this space. It's extremely important because, as you said, that we get into this idea of retaining our own positions or making the other person happy, or so. I think it's very important for us to learn. Initially, when I started working as an educator, I used to think that, being good at my job was, saying yes to everything. And I ended up, investing my weekends on preparing for presentations, taking calls after work as well, responding to emails. But there you need to set a boundary that, simple rules that you respectfully, as you said, that, for example, after working hours, don't expect me to respond to emails, work emails or messages. Or if someone is asking you to do a certain task, you might say that I would love to help you, or I would love to do that once I finish my break.
Yes.
So, simple things like these goes a long way. What we can implement.
So boundaries can be set, and a respectful no is needed here as well. Magda, you speak about mental agility. What in the world is mental agility.
Very good, very good. And thank you for asking me these questions, because I always like to start with definitions, right?
Mhm.
We have to have a vocabulary. You need to understand what we are talking about before we're going to go and find solutions.
Right.
So mental agility, simple definition, is the ability to deal effectively with what is going on inside you. That's my definition. So if you imagine that you have a basket of tools and there is a challenging situation happening or a crisis, you can pull from that basket in that specific moment a solution that is going to help you. So then we have the agility, and resilience is your long-term strategy. So do I need to adapt based on this situation that has just happened? And the key here is every individual is going to have a different basket. My basket is yellow, yours is green, yours must be pink. And the tools inside are also different.
Right.
The way how you navigate these tools also is different, and it is a flexible, ongoing process. So we are continuously adding, maybe sometimes removing, upgrading, AI. We want to use digital tools or some other tools. It's up to you, but continuously evolve and review and be aware that something that has worked last year might not work in the future.
How is this applicable to our superhero educators? To our superhero educators
Oh
and
my
leaders.
goodness.
Tell me.
My goodness. It's just the essence. So when we talk about stress and burnout, and my mental agility framework is just to help people navigate stress, not remove. Stress is forever present in our lives, and sometimes it's also good, As humans, we are built to deal with acute stress, but there is no way that we can sustain chronic stress.
Yes.
Chronic stress is a state of emergency if you present it to people in a simple way. So developing this basket of tools can help you navigate daily stressors. So the overwhelmed, your boss is giving you additional tasks. I don't know, another teacher is sick and you have to rejuggle the scenario. So there is so many tools. Emotional intelligence is one of them. So, navigating the emotions, knowing how to respond, not to react, what we already learned, knowing when to pause and to really think. You don't always have to give an answer. You don't have to give an answer on the spot. Like Nazia said, let me think about it, I'll come back to you.
Yes.
But very often we feel pressure. Everything has to happen here and now.
Right.
So just understand, understanding the science. The core of my mental agility framework is the science. I cannot coach someone if there is a real knowledge gap. So help you understand the stress algorithm, help you understand how emotions work, help you understand why we as humans, we judge, we have biases, help you understand this. It really puts you at an advantage position, having this abundance of knowledge to pick the right tool and to deal with the situation at hand.
So how are we going to build that resilience, that adaptability?
Love it, love it. I don't know how much time do you have.
It requires a whole workshop,
I
right?
will try to be as brief as possible. So as humans, as I said, we like frameworks, right? 5-step, 3-step solution. So my specific framework has a 5-step solutions. And it has scalable solutions. That's something that will bring you immediate relief in the situation today now, and something that will help you build a long-term strategy. So science is a core component. Then I move to assessments. Before I even apply tools like coaching, mentoring, facilitation, I need to do specific assessments. And again, it's individual. Does this individual need emotional intelligence assessment, resilience, strength assessment? We will see during the session. After the coaching, training, mentoring is applied, the individual or a leader has to understand the ROI. People want to know what is the return on investment.
Yes.
So I will be able to calculate it, but I would often challenge that individual or that team and ask them, what is the COI? What is the cost of inaction?
Yeah.
What if you don't upgrade your human skills? The world is accelerating at an unprecedented pace, and you're gonna be more stressed. Trust me.
Yeah.
More is
Trying
coming.
to keep up.
Trying to keep up.
Right.
You don't want to be in this survival mode. We were born to thrive.
Yes.
This is my
We're not
message here.
surviving.
That is so
Work
true.
should be fun.
Yes.
Human interaction should be
Yes.
fun.
Yes.
Life is short. We really have to find the meaning and see the positive. that see that there is always hope and you are always learning and good things are coming. The last component of this framework is the sustainability. So I teach individuals like with these magical solutions how to navigate the life when our program is finished. So you have so many tools. I have a wellness card deck, I have these coasters, I have books, I have a lot of solutions that the individual is going to have with them. And with the skills that they have already learned, believe me, these leaders are then able to teach their teams because they've mastered the mental agility.
I hear you saying, I'm coming back to what we said earlier. Each one of us needs to take responsibility for accessing the abundance of resources that is out there.
Yeah.
We cannot pass the buck.
Yeah.
Yes, as leaders, organizational leaders, we have a responsibility to our teams, yes, within that parameter. As policy makers, we have a responsibility within our framework. But us as educators going to work every day in the workplace, taking into consideration the children, the parents, and the other stakeholders in our immediate sphere of influence, we have to take responsibility for our own toolbox, for filling the toolbox, getting the resources, and then we can look outward. Correct, ladies?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Remembering more often that you don't have to be perfect, that you can be good enough. I know that for example, my child, he gets star even if his drawing is not like perfect. But why then teachers don't apply same on themselves, giving themselves star even if they just finish their day at work, it's
Done is
it's
better
enough
than
to be
perfect.
good enough. You don't have to be
Yes,
perfect
yes.
because perfection might be different for Magda, for Nazia, for me. So then to achieve perfection, it will lead to burnout, and it will lead that it will affect on your health and early retirement, which is big issue in
we spoke about the stats
teachers.
earlier.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Mana.
I think it's beautiful what Mirna said, that more than perfect teachers, we need more calm and present teachers who would engage more with the children. So we should not go for perfection. I remember I once had a child in my classroom who was struggling with emotional regulation. And I was making a lot of effort, but somehow I felt that it was not making a lot of difference. And then 2 years later, I ran into his parents and they said that he still talks about you. You made him feel safe at school. And that's when I realized that, probably in that moment, the difference that you're trying to make would not show immediate results, but it is making a difference. So as an educator, it's important that you just need to sow that seed, and growth will happen with time. So you do your best, don't go for perfection, as we spoke about. And every single day that you're making an effort to make it a little better, it really counts and it really matters.
I love that. That's very encouraging. Ladies, last words. What is one mindset shift that we can make as educators?
I
related
would
to-
add of what Nazia
Yeah,
said, and
yeah.
I believe that we all can remember the teachers in our life that made a beautiful
Yes.
impact on us. And if we think about them, and maybe we think about them as a superheroes in our lives, but teachers, you're doing such a beautiful job, and please take care of yourself. As we said today, like everything starts from self-care, and be mindful about yourself, your health, and do what you do the best.
What a beautiful message. Wow. My final message is that well-being is not a prescription. Even though I come from healthcare and I'm a nurse, I really want people to understand, don't put so much pressure on yourself and try to get it right. Because well-being looks different for Mirna, it looks different for Nazia, and it looks different for you. So don't try to follow your friend who is doing yoga 5 times a week. It might not work for you. I've met individuals in my life that don't do breath work, they don't believe in it. So don't try to force yourself and become a master of breath work if it doesn't work for you. Again,
Doesn't align.
have a basket with different well-being solutions, activities, and just pick from it and keep adding, keep diversifying, and just have fun, please. Well-being should be fun, not a pressure that we are putting on ourselves.
Absolutely.
I love that. Ladies, thank you. It has
Thank you
been
so much.
enlightening, it has been helpful, it has been, I feel so privileged to call you friends and to be able to give my colleagues access to a conversation with you. So I'm really, really grateful.
Thank you for providing the platform, Melanie.
I love
Thank you
what
to
we're
share.
doing. Thank you so much.
So much
Thank you
synergy.
so
Thank
much.
you.
This is such an important conversation, one that every educator and early years leader needs to tune into. A special thank you to our wonderful guests, to Magda, to Nazia, and to Mirna. Go and find them on Instagram, just under my followers, or on LinkedIn as well. If you resonated with the conversation that we've had here today, I would love for you to review, rate, and subscribe to our podcast on Apple, on YouTube, and on Spotify. I hope that you feel loved and respected and valued in whatever capacity you're fulfilling in early years education. This is Let's Talk Early Years. See you next time.